Hello everybody, good afternoon and welcome to That's Football for your afternoon on a Sunday watch-along, which is West Ham against Chelsea. It's a London derby. It's time for Chelsea to deliver. It's time to see what West Ham are all about. I think it's going to be an intriguing game, and it's certainly the sort of game that I think Chelsea can't continue to get the headlines just for their transfer activity. And I think that this is a real opportunity for them to go out and beat a team away from home that they're going to have to beat if they're going to get top four. And I think the interesting thing for me is that with Pochettino, if you look at Pochettino with his Spurs hat on, he was ridiculously good at beating teams outside of the top six and getting top four with Spurs. His Achilles heel was his inability to beat the teams in the top six. So I think with Chelsea, it's a really big game for them today to see how they perform against a team that really this is what Pochettino was brought in to do. Big shout out for Aston Villa, the Goldbridge touch. I did say they were going to smash Everton today, and having been smashed by Newcastle, they've just gone and smashed Everton and they got their goal difference back to evens in one game. Everton, I don't think Everton are going to go down, but I think they're going to struggle again this season, and I think a lot of people would agree with that. Let's have a look at the team news though. Areola in goal, Kufal, Zuma, Agard and Emerson, Soucek and Ward-Prowse in the midfield with Bowen, Paqueta, Benrahma and Antonio. Alvarez on the bench, which is maybe to do with the adjustments in training. I would have thought he would go straight into the team. I think he's an interesting signing from Ajax that Dortmund were looking at, and I'm slightly surprised he's not playing. But look, they've got a decent options on the bench now with the likes of Ings and Alvarez. So, yeah, interesting to see how that goes for West Ham. And then Chelsea, you never know what they're going to do. They've gone with Sanchez in goal, Disasi, Thiago Silva, Colwill, Chilwell and Gusto. Obviously, Reece James, we'll talk about him in a bit. Midfield, Fernandes and Gallagher with Chukwuemeke in there as well. And then Jackson and Sterling. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's the same team that played against Liverpool, apart from the enforced change of Reece James. There is Casido on the bench for Chelsea. £100 million player straight onto the bench. Madueke's on there. Mudrik's on there. Cucurella's on there. I mean, they've probably got in excess of £200 million on there. There's some young players on there, but that's how Chelsea are going to line up. Chelsea's problem is going to be scoring goals. That's their big thing. That's what Jackson's in the team to do. Last week, I think he finished like Michael Jackson. Bad. But this week, he's in my Fantasy Premier League team. Let's see what he can do. Rahul has given us our first super chat of the evening, or the afternoon. He says, Mark, I love you, and I want to say you are not toxic. But why are we allowing Ricky to call for Ten Hag's head? We need to stand with the manager, says Rahul. I'll be talking about that on the United Stand tonight at 8 o'clock, don't worry. I'm not here to, silence opinion, but obviously I have my opinion. That's what it's all about. Score predictions, Mark, says Fisk. I'd love West Ham to get a result. I think it'd be great for the Premier League if West Ham did get a result because, you want a competitive Premier League. And I think that Brentford yesterday, magnificent result, not being really spoken about, winning at Fulham. But I would go with... I think Chelsea will win this. I think Chelsea have to win this. I think Chelsea's season fan base know they need to win games like this. They've got no European football. You can try and get excited about the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup, and they have their value. United won it last year and got to the final of the other one, but Chelsea need to win games like this. I look at Chelsea for all the money they've spent, and if you look at their bench, I still think where is all that money? But their defence looks. I mean, Yerp says how is Sterling starting? Well, there's not a hell of a lot on the bench for Chelsea attacking wise. Obviously, they've got a few injuries, but realistically, their bench is Cucurella, Mudryk, Madueke, Casido, Ugachukwu, Matson, Burstow, Bergstrom, and Humphreys. So there's not. I mean, look, I think Chelsea are the big unknown, and they could have a really good season or they could have a really transitional season. I think the money they've been spending, they've got to challenge for the top 5 positions, which will probably get them in the Champions League. But Yeah, they're an interesting one, definitely. What do you mean clean your mouth? There's nothing wrong with it. Um, oh, yeah, a bit of lasagna though. I thought you meant my teeth. Yeah, I made a beautiful lasagna for dinner, and yeah, a bit messy around the mouth there. I thought you meant my teeth. I was going, like, nothing wrong with my teeth. Teeth are looking good. Not bad. Anyway, what were your thoughts on Villa today, says Archie. Look, Villa were a lot of teams' pick for doing well this season. I think they will do well. I think a lot of teams, a lot of fans start predicting their season after the first game or two. Man United will be in the race for top 5. Villa will be in the race for top 6. Newcastle will be in the race for top 6. They've all lost games in different ways. But people try and, I mean, I had somebody message me today saying, "Oh, I bet you want to change your ideas about Man United winning the Champions League now." We've still got 10 days to go in the transfer window. We've not even played in the Champions League yet, which is a knockout tournament. So no, I'm not changing my predictions on anything. I mean, if anything, I think if anything, I think a lot of my predictions will end up being true. Yeah, I think that we, Manchester City are going to run away with it. I don't think that's in doubt. Looking forward to Crystal Palace versus Arsenal tomorrow as well. Arsenal and maybe another will play for second place. And the race for top 5 will be Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester United, Newcastle, maybe Brighton and Villa. I think the team is what it is. How is your fantasy Premier League team doing, Mark? Well, I will let you know when I just type this in. Have a look. Fantasy Premier League. So, points for me. Average points this week are 30. I've got 32. So, I've got 32 points this week. I've got Jackson and I've got Jackson and Chilwell playing today. Colwell's on my bench. And then I've got Saka and Saliba coming in tomorrow. So that's where I am at the moment. 32 points for me. The average is apparently 30. So yeah, I haven't had a bad start, but I haven't had a great start yet, if I'm being honest. Thanks for anyone who's getting involved, by the way. 60 points for Josh. What do you think about Spurs, says Sushant? You know what? I think, look, Spurs, ridiculously hard to predict because they've got a new manager. I think that with Spurs, I do not think they're going to get in the top 8, and I'm going to stick with that. But they've had a decent start to the season. Look, you know what the surprise package is that I didn't even consider for Spurs, where I might have got it wrong about Spurs, is I completely and utterly didn't think about Basuma. And that's been the big thing in both games for me, is him. Is that's the one that's really surprised me. But, I guess we'll have to just wait and see how it goes. I think he's been like a new signing, and I think he's been brilliant for them. So, yeah. If Kane was playing yesterday, the result would have been a lot worse, says Johnny. He doesn't play for you anymore, Johnny. He plays for Bayern Munich because he doesn't think he can win trophies. So, not even trying to wind you up. That's why he left. Basuma is fantastic, says Life in Slow-Mo. Yeah. I think Basuma is probably at the moment the one thing that sort of has taken Spurs to that level of maybe they can get into the top 8. I don't know. I think Forest and Brighton might do City. They got no fear, says Daniel Roach. I think City could have the title wrapped up by Christmas. I don't see them. I don't see them being stopped, really. I think it'd be quite straightforward for them. Chelsea and Spurs will finish above United, says Model. say what you like. It's the second game of the season. We lost our first 2 games of the season last year, and we finished third very, very comfortably. So I'm not, you lose a game of football, you have to take it on the chin. You can't wind me up. You can't get at me. It won't work. It's a 38-game season. We've started tremendously badly, and we still got 3 points out of 6. I don't know how we beat Wolves, but we did. It's a bad start to the season for Manchester United, but I'm sure it will get better, and I'm sure it will get worse for Spurs and everybody else. The only consistent, as I say, will be Man City will run away with this league. That's what will happen. Everybody else will drop points. Man United, Brighton's not on the telly, says Robert McCormack. Well, welcome to the UK. City should just try going unbeaten this season or go for 114 points, says Yeet. No, I think City will get beaten. I'm sure an Arsenal or a Liverpool, maybe a Chelsea, maybe a Man United at Old Trafford will beat Man City, but they won't drop enough points for anyone to get anywhere near them. I feel like I should have a T-shirt saying 43 points from their first 48. That's what Arsenal did last year, and they still didn't win the league. I don't think Arsenal will get anywhere near doing that. Why has Anthony not been suspended, says Jordan? I don't think he's been arrested yet. And Sean Deitch says, Mount will soon realise how protected he was. Can I just say, Jordan, as well, I don't know whether you're a rival fan or what, but I sense people are trying to get at me because I'm a United fan. Trust me, it won't work. I've done the United stand for nearly 10 years. I vent my frustration at the club. I don't need to be influenced or impacted by rivals because I'll have said it all myself. But if you're trying to say, why are Man United picking Anthony because of these suspected allegations, you might want to look closer to home at other clubs who actually pick players who've been arrested of serious offences and kept picking them all of last season for very serious offences. So, look, yeah, United have got a lot of eyes on them at the moment because of what's going on with Greenwood and potentially going on with Anthony. But if you want to, start pointing the fingers at Man United for things like that, maybe go and look at some other Premier League clubs who pick players who've actually been arrested of serious offences and don't suspend them. Mount will soon realise how protected he was for being boyhood Cobham crap, says Sean. English media hype, dividing the fan base, big ego. He'll finally realise he was the problem. So glad he's not my problem anymore, says Sean. Well, yeah, Chelsea fans have turned on him, haven't they? And that's always going to happen. I think Mason Mount thinking he was going to get loved and respected by Chelsea fans. That's just not how football rivalry works, is it? He is having a torrid time at United at the moment, and I suppose it is a fair comment to talk about on That's Football because this is what happens when, Sol Campbell went from Spurs to Arsenal, Ashley Cole went from Arsenal to Chelsea. This is what happens when you do that. You're going to get these accusations levelled at you. I mean, I saw last night that as he was walking off the pitch, Mason Mount was doing that thing I hate footballers do, when they're talking like that. Smile on his face talking to James Maddison. So, look, those sort of things get scrutinised. It's part of the game. It's just the way it is. The way it is, though, is we're about to kick off here, and it's Mount's former club, Chelsea, up against West Ham. I'm worried we'll have a Pogba problem with Mount, where we have a good player, but we don't know of his best position in our system, says the Beast. Look, we're going to start watching this game now. All I'll say to you is that it's well known within Manchester United that Erik ten Hag is obsessed with Mason Mount. So you would assume he knows what he wants to do with him, and you would hope that he can do it. Another player on the move, James Ward-Prowse. I'm looking at him on the screen now. West Ham signing, always a very steady player for Southampton. What can he do for West Ham? Who does Ricky want instead of Ten Hag? I don't get it, says Alex. Well, there's a lot of people out there that wanted this man. Not David Moyes, Pochettino. So I guess we'll see what happens with him. But we're up and running here, and the timer's up and running as well. Make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe. You're all very welcome on That's Football. We hit 1 million subscribers yesterday. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And a reminder of the podcast that comes out every Tuesday afternoon, Goldbridge Saves Football. I've just put up a community post. We read a lot of your points out on the podcast, and basically we're asking for big things that annoy you at the moment about football, and we talk about that every week in a section on the podcast. I know I've got a few from this week, but Chelsea are in here already. Cross into the box, headed away. As I say, I think we really need to see Chelsea start moving through the gears. One thing about Chelsea this season that I think is going to be very, very consistent is their defence. You've got Colwell for me, who should be England's starting left-sided centre-back. Bye-bye, Harry. You've got Thiago Silva, who I think is one of the most underrated players in the Premier League. And then you've got Disasi, who they've brought in as well. And then they've got a lot of options at fullback. So I think that it's going to be an interesting one. If I was Antonio today, who's playing up front for West Ham, I'd attach myself to Disasi. I think he looked a little bit shaky. I know he got a goal, but he looked a little bit shaky in that first half an hour against Liverpool. So I'm interested to see. How West Ham attack. But it should be defence against attack, really. Hi Mark, congratulations on 1 million subs, says Mohammed. Hopefully West Ham will win and the England women did very well. They will go again, says Mohammed. Fair play for everybody. I mean, we did a watch along on that, didn't we? Paqueta's just gone down injured here. I've got to say, a lot of people disappointed about England losing the World Cup final. I had it on while I was making a lasagna, but we went and watched. I was in Mallorca last week and we went and watched it on Wednesday morning, the semi-final. And whilst my daughter plays, and I think women's football, it's fantastic, the growth and what it's doing. I can't pretend that I was devastated that they lost. I thought Spain were the better side. It is what it is. That's the sort of the way I support England these days. I think this whole blind, blind optimism has sort of disappeared. I watch a game, whether it's England, men or women, and I'm like, well, they didn't deserve to win. England didn't deserve to win the Euros under Southgate. We were shit, and we didn't deserve to win the final. I thought that Spain were the better side. Zia says, congratulations, 1 million subscribers, Mark. You're a gift to the world. Thank you very much. Lovely message. And Atoro says, do you think if Saudi Arabian money would have been spending crazy a couple of years ago, players like Casemiro and Thiago Silva and Varane would have gone? Probably, Atoro, probably. And if you are Ten Hag right now, who would you say is not good enough for Man United? I'm curious. Saying you have 20 million budget, you can count transfers out, says Zachary. Who don't I think is good enough for United at the moment? I don't think I'm really at that point with, players that played yesterday. I think I'm at that point with, some of the players that are on the bench, really. The Maguires, the Donnies, people like that who are holding us back. What do we think is going to happen with Paqueta? Charlie says he's faking an injury. Well, apparently he's another one, isn't he, that might be in trouble for gambling. I saw a tweet the other day. I don't know whether it was fake. Basically, he was odds on to get a yellow card, and somebody tweeted it and said, "Why is Paqueta not odds on to get a yellow card when he's only had a couple of yellow cards in his career or something like that?" So who knows what's going on there? Look, it happened with Tony. I'm sure it will happen with other players. Oh no, keeper's out for West Ham. Areola's out there very, very quickly there. Look, footballers aren't necessarily always the brightest tools in the box anyway. And there's so many of them. There's so many of them that some of them do dubious things. It will always happen. Do you think Sean Dyche will be the first sacking? Peter, we were talking about this on the podcast, me and Will, on the first episode of the podcast. And I predicted Roy Hodgson. And I think Will said Cooper of Forest. I think it's always difficult to predict who's going to be the first sacking. So get in the comments and let us know. What's your opinion on Szoboszlai? I think Liverpool will have a good season. I don't know why. I've just got a feeling they're going to have a good season. Despite their transfer window being a bit of a mess. Another corner here for West Ham. Good start from West Ham here. Ten Hag first sacking, says Jem. Laughable. Laughable. It's the... Yeah, I've got nothing to say about that. What's Conor Gallagher doing there? That's the biggest dive I've ever seen. Goal for West Ham! I'm forever blowing bubbles! It's a goal for West Ham! It's Agard on the back post, and it's that guy, Ward-Prowse. He's got a wand of a foot. James Ward-Prowse has whipped a cross in on his home debut for West Ham. In fact, scrub that. I think it's his debut altogether. He whips a cross in from a corner, and it's Agard. Do, because he has scored. Look at that. Back post. Poor defending. Conor Gallagher. What's Conor Gallagher doing there? I don't know what he's trying to do. Conor Gallagher. Somebody said it's not Conor Gallagher, it's Alicia Russo. I've never heard him described as that before. But I suppose there is, well, I don't think he looks anything like her. But the reality is, it's James Ward-Prowse with a corner, and it's West Ham 1-0 up already. And, well, I probably gave Chelsea a little bit of a jinx there, because I said defensively I expect them to be very good this season. But unfortunately for Conor Gallagher, he's not defended that back post very, very well. And straight away, Joseph, I'll give you the shout out, because I think we're all thinking it. Might need to put Ward-Prowse in my FPL this year. Very, very good goal. 1-0 to West Ham. That's what we want to see. Good game, good game. You want the underdog to score first. Great start, but Chelsea are in now. And Aniola, that's surely a penalty. He's got to give it. He's going to give it. Oh, it's offside. Oh, God, this game's exciting. It's exciting. Linesman put his flag up. Fair play. I think Jackson was looking for a... Yeah, he is. He's offside. You can see it might be a little bit tight. Would it have been a penalty? I think it would, you know. Yeah, it would have been a penalty. But it's checking for a possible penalty and an offside. He looks offside to me. Reece James is injured, Pange. We're going to talk about him soon. He looks offside. I mean, but we don't know. We don't know. Keep an eye. Walshy says it's definitely off. It's very close, says Robin. Well, if it's onside, it'll be a penalty. What a game already, says Omar. It's a cracker. It's a cracker. He's offside, yes. Good call. I tell you what, give that linesman a clap. Give him a raise. You know, that'd be great. LJ, I've just blocked you. You know why? Give that linesman a raise, because I think we give officiating a lot of stick, but when they get it right, he got his stick in the air and he was right. Who scored Agard serial from a corner from James Ward-Prowse? 6 brand new accounts were opened on that day with the maximum allowed money to be placed. They are 6 friends with Paqueta, and big money was won, says Chris. Well, he's screwed then, isn't he? If that's true, I don't know whether Chris is telling the truth there, but he's screwed, and quite rightly so. Football cannot be manipulated, even if it's just for yellow cards. You can't do it. Also, it's fraudulent. It's a crime. He's gone down again here. It's not Paqueta this time. It's Ben Rama, who's hurt his knee. Do you think it would have been a penalty if he'd been onside? Yeah. Yeah, I do. I do. But it's Agardou who scored the goal. West Ham lead 1-0. Some people are saying we're expected to hear an update on Mason Greenwood as early as tomorrow. That's from apparently from David Ornstein. Crystal Palace looking at Dean Henderson. Cracking start to this game, though. West Ham leading 1-0. Not a cracking start if you're a Chelsea fan, but a cracking start for West Ham. Who knows what season they could have this year? Mark, do you think it's hypocritical for West Ham and Brentford kit sponsors are... Hold on a minute. Antonio with the shot. West Ham are on the attack here. Chelsea looking a bit ragged. And I tell you what, they're on the break now, Chelsea. And Sterling's pass is crap. Torres says, do you think it's a hypocritical... Oh, another mistake. There'll be a yellow card here as well for Agard. Arturo says, do you think it's hypocritical for West Ham and Brentford kit sponsors their gambling sites and promoting it, yet they are punishing Tony and investigating Paqueta? Or is it is what it is? My initial reaction is it is what it is. Those clubs have a right to earn money within the rules of the game. I mean, you know, Formula One cars, you know, used to be identified by their sponsorship deals with smoking companies. I think until it's banned, a club has the right to operate within the rules of the game, don't they? Odds on Man United signing Amrabat, or will they go in other directions, says Colin. I think United should get hold of him, but you never know. Start, bench, sell. Maguire, McTominay, Weghorst. Love your content, Mark, says Show. Start, bench, sell. Start, McTominay, bench, Weghorst, sell, Maguire. James Ward-Prowse will improve West Ham. What a cross! What a miss! It's bad from Michael Jackson. Jackson. This would have been it. Chilwell's in my fantasy Premier League team, and Jackson's in my fantasy Premier League team. It wasn't Jackson. It would have been good for my fantasy Premier League team. Would have been very good. Basically, I've got Chilwell and Jackson playing today. Apparently I saw somebody on TikTok calling him Michael Jackson. I did it last week myself on a Chelsea stream, and I don't go on TikTok, so sit down. In the words of James, sit down. There'll be goals in this game, that's for sure. Looked like a foul by Disasi, but the player, the referee plays on. I'm surprised Pochettino hasn't put Caicedo straight into the team, but maybe he's not fully fit. Raheem Sterling, he's a player who's got to prove himself this season. Almost a forgotten man, Raheem Sterling at Chelsea, isn't he? Thanks, Nardu. He says, congratulations on 1 million subscribers. Liverpool are going to appeal McAllister's red card. I want to just run a poll, actually, on that. Should McAllister's red be overturned? For me, it wasn't a red card, but I've got to be honest, I'll be a little bit pissed off if it does get overturned, even though it's the right decision, because Casemiro's last year didn't get overturned. And so why are we suddenly overturning things that we didn't last year? Never a red card for me, for McAllister, but you can't deny he did foul him. So, you know, it's not like it wasn't a foul. He did foul him. It shouldn't have been a red. But Casemiro got a red and it didn't get overturned for a lesser foul. So for me, I mean, it's different seasons, but oh my God, here we go. No, he's not going to have the pace there. Oh, it definitely wasn't a red. It definitely wasn't a red, but I tell you what, with Liverpool going to Newcastle next week, they could do with him. The biggest problem with that and the similarity with the Casemiro red card last year is there was, on the same weekend that Casemiro got red carded, there were worse tackles that didn't even get bookings. And we saw it yesterday in the Man City Newcastle game. There were worse tackles in that game that didn't even get a booking. Consistency is always the big issue, Nerdstop. You're absolutely correct. In fact, Wuxia said that. Spurs Way says, why are Man United players so unfit? Mate, we as United fans said this during the Wolves game last Monday. Wolves it was like a 100-metre runner trying to take on a marathon runner in a marathon. We were just absolutely breathless. No, not sharp, not quick. And it happened in the second half against Spurs. I don't know how a big club can completely and utterly get its pre-season fitness training wrong. Terrible. And it makes such a difference. You know, fitness makes such a difference at this level. Same day, Chelsea versus Leicester, I will not forget, says the Inquisition. Yeah, there were some appalling tackles in that game. How do you think Man United would be doing now if Pochettino went to United straight from Tottenham? Champions League final, Prem title or 15th, says Inquisition. I think Pochettino's a really likeable coach, but I'm actually not a massive fan. I don't think he's a winner. I think he's a top 4 coach, which suits Spurs. I don't think it fits the brief for Chelsea. So, but what I will say is I do like him and he is a good coach. And this season for Chelsea, top 4 would be brilliant. Long term, do I think he can win Premier Leagues with Chelsea? I don't think he will do, no. But he's certainly going to have the money to do that, and he's never had that in his career. But at Chelsea, you've got to go and win titles. We've probably got some Chelsea fans listening in. Whether people like it or not, Chelsea have won multiple titles with multiple managers over the last 20 years, and that's the brief at Chelsea. Of course, a fraudulent club like Man City were linked to a fraudulent player like Paqueta. Coincidence? I think not, says Jack. Well, they're not linked to him anymore, are they? And I tell you what, weren't City going to pay 90 million quid? A lot of people, why have we got PSG question mark in the chat? I need more than that. Oh, right, okay. Apologies for the prats in the chat who rate winning the title with PSG as something relevant. I could win the title with PSG. Like, I genuinely could win the title with PSG. 100%. I think a lot of you could as well. So let's not pretend managing PSG to the title in France is some sort of achievement. It's a piece of piss. Some people really do respect what PSG do in the French league, like it's an achievement. I don't think it is. I think it's a huge failure if you don't win it. I don't get why people think PSG winning the French league is like some sort of big achievement. It'd be like putting Man City in the Championship and then going, "Oh, Pep's won the Championship. Unbelievable." Didn't he bottle one of those as well? Gravenberch to Liverpool would be a very good signing. I'd love him at Man United. Ward-Prowse has just got caught in possession here. Chelsea need to move the ball quick. This is perfectly set up for West Ham at the moment. They've got the early goal. They'd know they'd be defending a lot anyway. They can sit in, play deep, and play on the counter. And they've got a lead to protect. So, perfect start for West Ham at the moment. Good shot by Gallagher, though. Keeper can only palm it out. And Jackson shoots over the bar from quite far out. Nathan says Pochettino didn't actually win the league one year at PSG. What do we think about Jack? 65% of you would think that Alexi McAllister's red card from yesterday should be overturned. I don't know whether it should be overturned. It never should have been given in the first place. I mean, as a Man United fan, I don't think I need to be saying Liverpool should have things overturned, but what I will concede is it never should have been a red in the first place. Here's Chelsea again. Chukwuemeka into Enzo. Nice little ball out wide, but it's not a good ball, but it is a good ball. It's found its way to Gusto. Of course, Gusto is playing in place of Reece James, who is injured again. I posed this question this week about Reece James. What are your thoughts on Reece James? I think he is arguably one of the better fullbacks in world football, but he cannot stay fit, and I think you've got to start looking at that. Is his body just broken, and is he ever going to be able to stay fit long enough? And if he can't stay fit, it's really sad. They made him captain, didn't they? And I mean, you can't captain a team from the bench. Although Harry Maguire says, hold my beer. Here they are, Chelsea on the attack. It's a good cutback. Well, it's not actually a good cutback because West Ham intercept it. "22 minutes gone. Really good start for West Ham, this. Reece James is made of glass, says XX Tactical. Kian says he's Chelsea's Anthony Martial. He's always had knee. He's always. I said knee problems. I'm not too sure on the actual details of Reece James' injury history. Well, I can certainly go through it with you. I mean, if you look at Reece James' injury history. Oh, good cross into the box. Chilwell got up, but just wide. He has had a lot of... wow. He's had... Since the 2020 season, he's had 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 injuries. And in the last year, he's had 4 hamstring injuries. He's had 2 knee injuries. He's had a couple of thigh muscle problems. So hamstrings and knees seem to be his problem. Thing is, he's never really had a huge injury. 60 days with a knee injury in October 2022. So a year ago. But if you just go back a year, he's had... knee, hamstring, thigh, hamstring. My nan could win the French League with PSG and she's been dead for 6 years, says Jack. Same with the Scottish League and Celtic. It means nothing. And 6, I've done that one from Chris, haven't we? Savage says Sterling's absolutely class. Don't know whether he means it or he's being taken a piss. Here is Sterling, though. Oh, here we go. No, couldn't get it out of his feet, Jack. I mean, Sterling's played a good ball there, and Jackson couldn't get it out of his feet, which is surprising because he's very good with his feet. He invented the moonwalk. If you had to pick one player to sign for United from Chelsea and West Ham, who would you pick, says Colin? On the pitch today, there's not really anyone at West Ham that jumps out at me. I've got to be honest. There's no one in that West Ham side that I think, ooh, I'd love them. Maybe... I mean... There isn't anyone in the West Ham side that I think goes in the United team. Maybe Jared Bowen because he's a right winger. I wouldn't get Paqueta because he's clearly going to get a ban, isn't he, by the sounds of it. So I wouldn't be looking at a player that's going to get a ban. Obviously, if he wasn't going to get a ban, you might look at him. As for Chelsea, there's a few options at Chelsea. I do like the look of Colwill. I think Thiago Silva, even at his age, is a good player. But I think you've got to go for Enzo Fernandez. United desperately need that sort of player, and we should have got him in the bloody first place. In fact, Chelsea have bought 3 midfielders that I would love United to have gone for. And Enzo, Lavia, and Casido. I'm worried that if we aren't careful, the Premier League will very soon become the English Farmers League, says the friendly bottle of shampoo, like the Scottish and the French leagues. Yeah, I mean, look, West Ham, you can't moan about West Ham not starting Alvarez. I was looking forward to Alvarez playing. Obviously, I don't know the reasoning behind it, but I think he's going to be a really interesting player for them. Oh, what a goal that is! What a goal that is! Chukwuemeka! What a goal! He's arrived, and that is an absolute banger for Chelsea. Well, that's put a cat amongst the pigeons for sure. Really good goal that for Chelsea. And he'll be buzzing, absolutely buzzing. This is the guy I think they bought in from Villa. I'm pretty sure. And I'd love to say that Chilwell will get an assist, but I don't think he will because it's so much more. Yeah, it won't be an assist from Chilwell, but he picks it up here. Ah, it's brilliant. Brilliant feet. Brilliant feet. Sends Soucek back on his holiday and then whips it. Oh, it's a great goal. It's a great goal. Great goal. You can't argue with that. Chukwuemeka, I think his name is. Chukwuemeka. I don't know how you pronounce it, but first senior goal. I believe they brought him in from Aston Villa for good money. And Chukwuemeka is how you do it. It says BKG. And I tell you what, Chelsea needed that goal. They didn't want to be heading towards half-time 1-0 down to West Ham. And they've equalised, fair play. And that will give them a bit of a buzz now. Chukwuemeka. What happened to Maguire's move to West Ham, says Daniel. He bottled it. Prefers sitting down at United on 200 grand a week. But look, regardless of how you pronounce the surname, I think one pronunciation we all understand is great goal. It was a really good goal. The body movement to send Soucek back on his holidays and then whip it. Lovely goal. Do you think you put Chelsea as firm favourites now? They're really got their tails up. Do you think poor refereeing decisions will hit boiling point this season and we'll see some... Wait a minute. Do you think we'll see some big call-outs from pundits, players and managers, says Charlie? Well, Bruno Fernandes came out after the Spurs game yesterday and said that referees should be making... coming out and speaking after games. Look, if that handball that Romero did happened in this game, I'd say it's a Stonewall penalty. He didn't come from Villarreal. You're getting mixed up with Chukwueze, David, who actually doesn't play for Villarreal anymore. I think he's at AC Milan. Chukwuemeka is a young player that they brought in from Villa. Chukwueze was a winger from Villarreal. Do you think it was? Look, was it a handball, and should it have been a penalty against Romero in the Man United Spurs game last night? I'd be stunned if even a Spurs fan, knowing that you won 2-0, still doesn't think that's a penalty. I've seen it so many times. It doesn't even irritate me now because we lost anyway. But he literally moves his body to block the shot, and his hand blocks the shot. I just cannot get my head around how anybody looked at that and goes, it's not a penalty for me. I mean, apparently Roy Keane said it wasn't a penalty. I mean, I don't know what these ex-players are on about. They've played the game. They know more than we do what Romero's doing. He's intentionally trying to block the shot, and when it hits your hand when you're trying to block a shot, it's a handball. Your hand is intentionally trying to block the shot. Jack says, "Is the whoop worth it? I might get one." That's what I have here. Yeah, I like it. I mean, look, they're not cheap, and you do have to pay a subscription. But I like it, and the reason I like it is it just it's really good for sleep health as well, and it monitors your temperature as well, which I think is really good, because when you have a bad night's sleep and then your temperature's up, you might be getting a cold or something like that. So I like it. I think it's you get to a point in your life where you take a little bit more interest in your health, and I do use it as it's a bit more of a motivator to actually go and do fitness activity as well. So yeah, I find it useful. I don't know whether I'd have found it useful in my 20s when I was doing a lot more fitness stuff anyway, but now I'm in my 90s. It's good. Jackson looks lively, says Robert McCormack, but don't look like a finisher. Yeah, I mean, it's only his second game. I wouldn't judge him at the moment. Your prediction came true with Chelsea spending 300 million with 3 different managers. If it goes wrong for Poch, I think Chelsea fans should question the owners, says Nathan. And funny enough, a similar penalty was given to Spain today. This wouldn't even be a discussion in Europe, says Les. Look, one thing I'll tell you about European football, and anybody who watches European football will know, their handball, there's no pissing about on handballs. If it hits your hand in the box, you're probably going to concede a penalty. And I could live with that, because at least it's consistent. You might go, oh, that's really bad luck, but at least it's consistent. Jackson's done well there. There's no one in the box, though. Shell says, I'm a Newcastle fan and it was a Stonewall pen. Yeah, they deal with it. I remember when Man United played last season, and Martinez went to block a shot, funnily enough, and it deflected off his knee into his arm. So it hit his knee and went into his arm, and they still gave a penalty because it was an Italian referee. United owe the gods a penalty for Onana, still owe 2 points, says Jit. And Chelsea will struggle till October. Caden says, Amrabat news. I've not had any. Tell us the news, mate. You know, you've had a shout out. I don't know what the news is, mate. What do you think of Villa today? Really good. Really good. Explosive, quick on the break. Really enjoyed it. I've just seen a picture of that Romero thing. I mean, he's literally blocking the shot with his hand. Yeah, I don't know. I can't see anything on Amrabat that's coming from any of the sources I would use. So, I don't know. 64% of you said it was a penalty. Thank you very much. Pretty much the same as the people who say that... shot just wide from West Ham there. That was Paqueta. Hi Mark, happy with the win as a Spurs fan, but it was a penalty, says L2 Gaming. And I'm a City fan, and even I know it was a penalty, says Hessen. Look, United lost the game. Like, no one's saying United should have won the game. I'm not asking for, it should have been a penalty and therefore United would have won it. Spurs deserve to win. Give Spurs the points. They've got the points. What I'm saying is, should that be a penalty if it happens in the next 10 minutes here? Should it be a penalty if it's Palace Arsenal tomorrow? Should it be a penalty next Friday night? Yes, every single game it's a penalty for me. And consistency is what we crave. Good game this one though, 36 minutes gone. I'm not going to judge Jackson off 2 games, says Red, but judge Mount. I haven't judged Mount after 2 games. So you can take your clown emoji and you can shove it up your arse. Because there's only one clown here, and that's you. With your big bloody boots on. Paqueta's had a yellow card, apparently. It's too early to predict the top 3. Oh, Sterling's here. What? Well, I thought he'd done really well, actually. He was in behind. His touch was quite good. Anyway, I mean, if you want to be completely honest about this, so we can't judge Mount after 2 games, and we can't judge Jackson after 2 games. Two completely different positions. One has never played in the Premier League before, and Jackson's looked very lively. He just doesn't look very clinical, whereas Mason Mount hasn't looked very lively at all. So I don't get why people do comparisons. I really don't. I know they can be quite fun at times to say bench, sleep with, or sell, or whatever it is people do. But honestly, you can have different things on different on different scenarios, can't you? It's like yesterday, somebody said, well, United shouldn't get a penalty for a handball because Anana didn't get a penalty given against him for a foul. I mean, the outcome is a penalty, but the route to it is completely different. You can't say United don't deserve a penalty for a blatant handball because they didn't concede a penalty for a foul by the goalkeeper. I mean, you can't run football like that. That's just silly. You can say it's karma, but karma doesn't even bloody exist, does it? I mean, some people think it does, of course. Dan says, "What's bench, sleep with, sell?" It's a new one. It's I think it's going to be more popular than bench, start, sell. It's basically going to be bench, sleep with, sell. Oh, referee, he might have to look at this. Chukwuemeka. He might have a look at this. Liverpool fans will certainly be having a look at it. No, it's a yellow card, nothing more. It's not even a yellow, really. His studs aren't showing. He's stretching for the ball. He actually wins part of the ball. I'm all right with that. I wouldn't even give him a yellow. I've played the game. He's given me a yellow. I think he's a bit unlucky there. Are you going to get the new EA24 game? Says Nathan. I'll give it a go. I don't know what sort of content I'm going to do around it, but I'll give it a go. A few people saying that tackle's on par with McAllister. Yeah, you're probably not wrong. But what I'm saying is, 2 wrongs don't make a right. You can't give the Chelsea lad a bloody red card for that. It would be wrong. Just like it was wrong against McAllister. And he got the ball. Did you watch the final today? Says Mohammed. I watched bits of it. What I saw, Spain with a better side. Oh, Liverpool signing Amrabat. I've just seen it. Manchester Evening News, says Nitin. If they do, it will send the United fan base into absolute meltdown. Nothing would surprise me. But I don't know. I've sort of switched off in relation to United's transfer window. You engage with it for the first couple of months, and obviously I knew about Højlund a long time before. He's given a penalty here. Is it a penalty to Chelsea? Yes, he's given a penalty. Sterling's won it. Penalty to Chelsea. Well, he's been getting a lot of stick. It's outside the box. That's outside the box. 100% outside the box. That's not a penalty. Tackle takes place outside the box. Won't be a penalty. VAR is going to take a look at this. I mean, it's where. Oh, I don't know. I need to slow that one down. Could be a pen. Let's have a look. Looks to me like it's outside the box. No, he's given a penalty. He's given a penalty, and to me it was very inconclusive. Very inconclusive, that. It continues inside the box. No, it's where the first contact of the foul hits. So if it's on the line, it's a penalty. But very inconclusive VAR there. He's missed it! He's bloody missed it! Areola! Some people say he's a bit of a tit. Well, he's very good at saving goalkeepers. Saving penalties. Areola with the save. Well, whether it was a penalty or not is redundant now. VAR was very quick to say it was in the box. I'm not convinced anyway. But what a save by Areola. And, well, I don't know. I don't know. Was he off his line a little bit quick, Areola, there? They might want to take a look at that. I think he's off his line before that kick there. That's inconsistent as well. They don't ever look at that. Should be a retake. I don't know about you lot. I've got zero confidence in any officiating in this league. I wouldn't be surprised if the foul took place outside the box. I wouldn't be surprised if Areola was at least a step off his line when it was kicked. I don't know. We just, you know what one of the big problems is as well? I'm gonna give you a different angle on this. Clip it up if you like. It might be a little bit too technical for you. We moan about VAR a lot, and we moan about officiating a lot, and there is a lot of mistakes in the officiating. But don't you think the TV coverage is shit as well? We don't get enough replays of key incidents. Well, there's something going off here now between the West Ham left back who's just got booked for a foul on Sterling. Emerson. Is the officiating this bad in other top leagues, says Shaw? Yeah, I think the replays that we get are rubbish. It was a nasty tackle on Sterling, and well, it was a nasty tackle, but then Sterling gets up straight away and goes for the player. What if VAR refs are paid? They can't be that bad, says Jip. What are they paid? Probably quite good. Here's Chilwell. Keeps it in. Wow, it's been a good game. It's been a very good game. What a half of football here. 6 minutes added on. You can sort of understand why in a game like this, to be fair. But I don't think we get enough replays of key things. We haven't really seen the penalty replayed enough on the areas that we want to see. When people like TNT and Sky and all these other TV companies are paying so much for football, then you can't leave the viewer, the consumer, in doubt. You've got to give them it. Like when I watch NFL, American football, they are, they sometimes overdo it with the replays, but you get every angle slowed down. You're informed as the consumer. You are respected and you are informed. Lovely run by Sterling. He's having a great game. This should be a goal. Chilwell blocked. I tell you what, Sterling's having a good game. I meant paid like corrupt, fixed blatant misses, says Chip. I don't know about that. Sale says, my dad caught me using his Manscaped. Can't we women use it? Do you share your Manscaped too? No, I do not. No, I don't. Sterling's having a very good game, and Simon Woodward says he's on fire. He once was a very good player at Man City. Turn of pace here was really good. Very difficult player to tackle as well, because he'll dive like bloody Tom Daly if he gets a chance. Well, Chelsea got a free kick here. And they'll get a corner as well. Oh, well, a fantastic game of football. Make sure you subscribe, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. Get involved with That's Football. We've got another cracking game going on. What a half. Missed penalty as well. To be fair, I'd probably put Raheem Sterling in as potential man of the match from that half. Although Areola making a save from a penalty is probably putting him in there as well. One question, I don't know whether we've got any Chelsea fans, it might not matter. Were you surprised that Enzo Fernandez actually took the penalty? I think there's Is their new striker not good at penalties? Is Sterling not good at penalties? Is Enzo Fernandez a penalty taker? That's not something I'd really 100% know about, to be honest. A lot of people saying they were very surprised that he took it. I'd always be looking to give it to the striker, especially when he's trying to adapt to the Premier League. Give him a penalty. He's got a Premier League goal, hasn't he? Maybe he's not a penalty taker. Raheem Sterling could do it as well. James must be a first-time viewer. He says, "Are you a Southgate fan?" Absolutely not. I'd rather you were England manager, James, and I know nothing about you, and I'm sure you'd do a better job. Here's Chilwell. Why would they not be corrupt, says Jip. He's still on about referees. VAR shows heavy evidence. They're professional referees with years of experience, and we, the fans, have better judgment. There we go. And, well, there's an injury now to a Chelsea player. Hi, I'm surprised it wasn't Sterling, considering he's always been all right at set pieces, says the Don. What do you think is going to happen with the Man United sale, says Rez? I think they will be sold at some point, but I could never predict when it might be. Looks like a Chelsea player could be coming off here, and I think it's the goal scorer, isn't it? Hi, Mark. What changes would you make to the United lineup, says Kevin? Well, I'd literally buy a box-to-box midfielder, because that midfield is, it's like a hooker on holiday. It's wide open at the moment, and free. Hi, Mark. What changes would you make? So there we go. Kevin, thank you very much. Not that I know that they don't charge on holiday, but I just thought, with it being, they're not working, they might have might be on holiday and just, oh, I've been to Magaluf in my teens. A lot of people have that attitude. He's down. Chukwuemeka scored a good goal. I think he might have hurt himself in that tackle. He got a yellow card. Why does Sterling run like he soiled his pants, says JM Gaming? Well, he hasn't soiled his pants. He hasn't done a Gary Lineker. Great goal. Look at the body turn there, though. That's technique. That is just... There's not a lot West Ham can do. The body turn, the shift of the weight. Be a shame if he's injured because he's had a really good start. In injury time as well, it looks like he's going to come off because Mudryk is warming up here. Could be a big change in the game here. Chill was having a chat with Poch. Poch got Chelsea playing better football in a month than Ten Hag had us playing yesterday after a year. What's going on? Says TJ. I think that's becoming a bit of a tired topic now. I think you can say Gary O'Neill had Wolves playing better football than United in a week, but it's a bit of a tired argument now because it's ignoring the fact that United finished third and won a trophy last year. It's not like Ten Hag has been failing for a year. We've had a bad start to the season, and I think history is being rewritten about Ten Hag very, very quickly. I completely agree with Wolves played us off the park and Gary O'Neill's only been there a week. I completely agree with Spurs being fitter and sharper than us in the second half and better than us, and Ange has only been there a couple of months. But I think it's getting a bit silly now that, like Ten Hag's useless. He clearly isn't. He's clearly done a good job. Hi, Mark. Having a debate with my friend. Whose defence is stronger, United or Newcastle, says Josh. Well, at the moment, you'd have to say Newcastle because United shipped 2 goals yesterday. Would you take Alvarez at United, says Arturo? I don't know. I mean, look, he looked good at Ajax. He's not even starting for West Ham yet, so it's easy to pick these players based on reputation. Let's see what he does at West Ham. Look, Ten Hag managed him and he didn't go near him. It's half time and it's 1-1 at half time, and I've got to say, fair play to both sides. It's been a very, very watchable affair. Not that I go around watching people having an affair, but in a footballing sense, it's been a very interesting affair. Both teams have played their part. I thought it was a good goal from West Ham early on, and in this type of game, you want the underdog to score first, and they did from a cross from Ward-Prowse and a strong header by Agard, and then Chelsea. The game's gonna run a pattern. Then West Ham are gonna try and defend what they've got deep and hit on the break, and Chelsea are gonna have a lot of the ball. And they certainly did. It was a really, really good goal by Chukwuemeka. Really, 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 really intelligent movement. Body swerve, bang, 1-1. Then the penalty, which I've got to say, I'd like to see that foul again and see where it took place because they seem to deal with it very quickly. Having seen them look at offsides that are clearly offside for 2 minutes, I was very surprised how quickly they went with that penalty on that one. But I guarantee we won't even get a replay of it at half time because it's Sky. And a good save by Areola. So I think West Ham will be pretty happy with the 1-1. Chelsea, from being behind, will feel that they should be ahead, and it's all to play for in the second half. Don't forget, Ollie finished second, and then the next season was thrown under the bus. Erect, then Shag has to be careful, says Sam. Okay, that's one of the weirdest names I've heard Ten Hag be called, but maybe it'll get a laugh. I don't think so, but there you go. If you don't shoot, you can't score. Pause. There we go. Well, look at that. Look at that. The match stats at half time. Remember, match stats are sponsored by OneFootball. Links in the video description, or you can scan the QR code in the top right-hand corner. Download it for free on all your platforms, whether it's Apple, Android, whatever. You can download it for free for all your latest breaking football news, transfer news about all the clubs. But the thing I like about it is you get the match stats, but they individualize the player stats as well. So if you want to have a look at a specific player, how many successful passes, etc., check it out on the OneFootball app. Links in the description, or scan that QR code there. Let's have a look at that though. And look, it's a story of a team that's been 1-0 down with better players, that's had a lot of the ball trying to get back into the game and then kept the momentum when they did. West Ham were never going to have a lot of possession. 21% possession at home may seem a little bit horrifying, but let's have a look at it. Look at the players that Chelsea have got. West Ham scored early. I think it's a fair reflection and a predictable pattern of play. And the one thing I would look at that if I was Chelsea, if I was West Ham, is look, Chelsea have had a lot of possession, but we've still had 6 shots. 2 of them on target to their 3. It's not a bad game from West Ham at the moment, and Chelsea, I'm sure it will continue like that into the second half, but West Ham are still very much in this. Oh, God. Tired. Saar says, what are your thoughts on Tyler Adams to Bournemouth? I think they need someone like that and quietly have a good window, says Saar. Well, I'm all for competitive. I'm all for competitive nature of the Premier League. I want it to be competitive. And Bournemouth went ahead early at Anfield yesterday, and I think a lot of people are writing Bournemouth off as going down, but really I think Luton are going to go down, Sheffield United are going to go down, and then there's only one other who can, and not everybody out. I mean, I keep people saying Everton are going down, Bournemouth are going down, Wolves are going down. They can't all go down. So, Conor Gallagher is Mount 2.0, another player that gets protected at Chelsea, but at United the scrutiny is unrelenting, and there's no place to hide, says Goals for George. Do you think we'll see Casido in the second half, Mark? Yes, I do. I think that they will get him on at some point. I don't know how match fit he is. Maybe that'd be an issue. Why is Eric Ten Hag obligated to play transitional football versus sticking to his style? Do you think Sir Alex Ferguson gave him some impression of Manchester United's identity? Says Nida. And Chelsea should be winning this game. Chelsea fans don't actually like Conor Gallagher, says Taylor. Well, he's the player that's going to be out of the team. I don't think it's... you might have noticed I've sort of brush-stroked over Conor Gallagher there, because I don't think it's worth talking about, because I don't think he'll be in that team for that long. Considering we felt that was a penalty for United yesterday, what do you think about the penalty that was given against England women earlier, says Darry? Well, I think it was a penalty. Yeah. I think it was a definite penalty for United. I think it was a penalty today. Look, I've said it many times. When it comes to the handball rule, I would rather we had a rule where if it hits the hand, it's a penalty. And the only way I wouldn't give a handball is if, there's a player in the box and there's a fullback stood really close to them and they just lob it up onto their hand to try and make it touch their hand. I wouldn't have that as a penalty. But I think any sort of shot or cross that catches a hand, just give a penalty, and then we all know it. I think fans are intelligent enough that if a cross comes in and hits a player's hand, like the Chelsea-Liverpool game last week, when it hit the Chelsea player, I think that should have been a penalty. And I think Chelsea fans would, if the rule said if it hits the hand in those circumstances, it's a penalty, I think a fan would have the intelligence to go, it's unfortunate, but it's a penalty, and it'll even itself out through the season. The thing about handball is it's such an easy thing. It hit the hand, let's have a penalty. But we overcomplicate it with stuff that's always going to create this. Was his hand in a natural position? What's the distance? What was his intent? I think we'd solve a lot of problems if we did our handball the way they do it in the continent, which is we don't care if it deflects up onto your hand. We don't care what your intent was. If the ball travels and hits somebody on the arm, it's a penalty. And I think that's what we should do. I don't know why we overcomplicate something that's so simple. What do they think fans are going to do? Treat it like the Super League and start protesting outside every ground? And it would equal itself out. It would equal itself out. Considering, done that one from Darry. It's so depressing to watch this as a United fan. Chelsea already playing better than United, says Dej. And Everton back-to-back losses. Do you think they can get relegated this season? Shout out from Mexico, says George. Well, I'm looking at Everton. They are in the bottom position in the league. A lot of people are talking about whether Sean Dyche could get the sack. Everton's biggest problem is scoring goals. They didn't score again today. They've got Wolves at home on Saturday. I actually think that game is massive. Absolutely massive. Because, well, Sky have just picked out that Souček is in the box when Enzo Fernandez takes the penalty. And then he clears it. I think you're clutching at straws a little bit there for me. But if Wolves beat Everton at Goodison Park, which they're capable of doing, then I think losing your first 3 games might lose Sean Dyche's job. Because their next game after that is Sheffield United away, and then they've got Arsenal. So, yeah, look, Everton, it's hard to see where Everton are going to win at the moment. But, you know, it's not been a good start to their season. The commentator referenced Paqueta's betting violation twice, but the silence from Carragher was deafening. Just shows how these career pundits won't stick their neck out, says Robbo. Oh, mate, you know what? You've lit the fuse there with me. These players, right, they'll gob off about something that they want to gob off about, you know, whatever it is. But they won't have an opinion on something that actually matters because they're terrified that, you know, somebody might come for them because they have a different opinion. Like they won't have an opinion on Mason Greenwood. They won't have an opinion on the Paqueta thing. They won't have an opinion on those sort of things because actually it's something that people would respect somebody having an opinion on. But they'll come out with some complete and utter bullshit about Casemiro being washed or, you know, Martinez is too small for the league. But ask them about something that actually matters and they'll be sponsored by Pampers with a nappy on shitting themselves. Any good life advice, Mark? Keep up the amazing streams. They entertain me through good and bad times. Any good life advice? Edward, I mean, I'm not going to give you anything profound. I watched a very good film last night called The Founder. I think that sort of resonated with me in relation to life and greed. The story of McDonald's, quite an interesting one. I've never seen it before. Very good film. Give it a watch. Sort of goes along the theme of talent, education isn't as important as persistence. But I watched the film and I was like, well, where's the line between persistence and luck? He got quite lucky. I suppose he was persistent in that he kept trying and failing and trying and failing. But yeah, I don't know. It's well worth a watch though. Jamie Carragher, 100 million on Casido and Rice is a good deal for the next 5 years, whereas paying 85 million on a 32-year-old Casemiro looks a bad deal now. Didn't pay 85 million pounds, Sean Dyche. Don't know why. Casemiro's price seems to go up by the day. We paid 60 million. Carragher said it was 70. And you're saying it's 85. Yeah, I'm intrigued by how a transfer fee goes up by the day. Can you see one of the anti-football managers like Allardyce or Pulis being drifted in again like last season, says the Beast? I think football's changed, you know. If Everton sacked Dyche, it's the worst decision ever, says Aidan. I think football's changed. You know, my respect for people like Thomas Frank and De Zerbi and Eddie Howe to a certain extent, even though he's got a lot of money. I think there's... I just think these people these managers are fantastic what they do. Yeah, I mean they've got money, but they don't have the money of the top clubs and the football they play. It's, I mean, especially like Brighton, they're a breath of fresh air. And you know, I think the problem if you're an Everton fan, and I'm trying to think of a club like Everton as well, but if you're an Everton fan, your big problem is, well, what would De Zerbi do to Everton? What would Thomas Frank do to Everton? And that's the problem Sean Dyche has got. He's not unsackable. I think he's a good coach. But the Premier League has gone through this identity revolution where lesser clubs, I'm not going to be disrespectful, so-called lesser clubs are punching above their weight. Fulham as well. Like, these clubs are punching above their weight. They're entertaining their fans. I knew a West Brom fan that I used to work with, and they said to me a few years ago, you know when West Brom used to yo-yo between the Premier League and the Championship, and they'd say, to be honest with you, it's nice to be in the Premier League, but I actually like it when we're in the Championship, because when you're going home and away, you're expecting to win games. Whereas in the Premier League, 80% of your games, you know you're going to lose. You know, virtually every home away game you're going to lose, and a lot of the home games you're going to lose. It's not that enjoyable. But that's how the Premier League used to be. If you look at Fulham and Brentford these days, their fans, I don't know how many they've got, but their fans can go anywhere and think, you know what, we might do something at Old Trafford. We might do something at Man City. Brentford won at Man City last year. We might do something at Anfield, and that's where I think the Sean Dyches of this world and the Sam Allardyces of this world, are they almost redundant now, because you've got these new breed of managers that no matter who they manage are capable of going and getting results and entertaining their fans. And it's true, you know, the Norwiches and the West Broms, they used to come up, get beat by most teams and go back down, whereas you get the Fulhams, and I think Burnley will be like it this year as well. There's a change in the football, and, you know, I like Sean Dyche, of course I do, but the way that he approaches a game is damage limitation, isn't it? Whereas, you know, you look at the way Emery's come into Villa, you look at what De Zerbi's done at Brighton, we've mentioned Fulham and Brentford. These teams are well organised, and they actually want to try and win as well, and it's to the betterment of the Premier League, let's be honest. Wack says it wasn't a red card for Liverpool. I think we've all established that, even people who don't like Liverpool. We've all established that one, mate. Don't worry about that. Don't you worry about that, mate. We're on your side. Calm down. It's all right. We've all seen it. There's no way there's no way that's a red card. No way. That's not a red card. No way. No, not having that. Not having it. Everton needs the next step, says Savage. Mudryk is going to come on for Chukwuemeka, who scored a very good goal for Chelsea, but he's going to come off. And yeah, look, I like Sean Dyche. I know you do, Goldbridge. You take the piss out of my voice enough. You sound more like Tyson Fury. I can't do it anymore. It gives me hiccups and a sore throat. But yeah, I think Sean Dyche might be drifting into history. In the sense that the lesser clubs these days, I mean, look at the Bournemouth manager. The hipsters love him. They love him, don't they, at Bournemouth? So yeah, I think that the management quality in the Premier League has never been so good. The depth of manager that we have. Pochettino back in the Prem, drew his first game against Liverpool. He'll want to be winning. He want to be winning games. He want to be winning games like this. Should Enzo Fernandez have taken the penalty? Sean Dyche like a diamond. Tarkowski and Haaland. I wish I had Haaland. Dyche needs a Lemsip. Thoughts on... I don't need a Lemsip. My big problem is I always feel like I'm pushing out a big poo. Thoughts on Job McKenna is doing Premier League bound. I haven't even looked at the Championship. Thank you very much, Chris D. Give me a bit of wood. Sean Dyche like a diamond. Tarkowski and Haaland. I've got Dwight McNeil. I've got Tarkowski. Give me a bit of wood. Scored a goal for Forest yesterday. He's exactly what we need at Everton. A bit of wood. Bit of firm wood up front. Get it on Wood's head. Mudryk is going to change the game, says Flopper. Well, we're just about to start the second half here. I did see my little clip yesterday. I had to retweet it because it even made me laugh. I had a bit of a go at Michael Oliver, and he got it right. But you know what? Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with passion, and there's nothing wrong with getting it wrong. And I genuinely thought Anthony got the ball, and he didn't, and therefore I admitted he got it right. The worst thing you can do is get angry, frustrated, and be stubborn in life. I think you know, if you get it wrong, put your hand up and admit it. Why did you say his mum cuts his hair? I don't know. I don't know. That's you know what, that made me laugh. That was the bit that made me laugh when I said that, because I don't know where it came from. I think I said it a few years ago, because I didn't used to like Michael Oliver because he sent off Chris Smalling and then he didn't send off Joe Hart, who basically put his head on. I mean, I don't know whether you remember this game. It was the Manchester derby. He sent Chris Smalling off. Then something went on in the centre circle. Joe Hart ran from his goal and put his head up against the referee's head. And Michael Oliver went, oh, sort of did a little smile like he wasn't going to wash his head for a couple of weeks. So I sort of said, he's a bloody, you know, his mum does his hair. He's all right, bloody prat. Arguably, Ab says he's arguably the best referee now. Well, I don't think he is, mate, because that was a handball yesterday, and he was the referee for it. Also thought that he obviously got it wrong with the Porro foul on Bruno, because clearly when Bruno's shin is bleeding, something's gone wrong there. I also thought Palestri was fouled at the end. That should have been a penalty as well. So I don't think he's... you might say he's the best of a bad bunch, but he's still bad. I believe the refs in the Premier League are pretty good, says Kenny. Yep, you need to get out a bit more. Touch grass. Nathan Allen says, Brighton lose their best players and they batter teams 4-0 like it's made. How well they cope with losing their best players. Yeah, well, they're a very good team. They're not just a good team, Brighton. They're a very good team in relation to how they are run off the pitch as well. They've got a plan. They've got brilliant scouting. It works well. Shine bright like a diamond. What do we think is going to happen in the second half? I can't help but predict that Chelsea will win this game. I don't think West Ham are offering enough going forward. Dylan says, I played the game. West Ham needs to buy M&M. This is Edmund. I think Leicester are going to come straight back up, Hecker, yeah, from the Championship. Be very surprised if they didn't. Who was the other team that got relegated? It was Leicester, Leeds, and... Hold on, Chelsea into Sterling. He's had a good game. It's a good cross. It's a clearance. Southampton. I don't know how they're doing. Well, he's in one-on-one. He's messed that up. Oh, he's messed that up. Was he onside, Ben Rama? Yes, he was offside. He was through one-on-one there. Yeah, he's offside. He's offside. The carousel's not rotating. Let me just get that started for you. Yeah, he was offside, but that touch there was the bad one. He tried to make it better for himself on the left, but bad touch. Bad touch. What does Seb think of Maguire staying, says the Lonely Loner. I haven't put him on the stream, actually. He's very happy. And he also thinks he's got a big part to play. He said, my advice is clearly working, and the manager wants to give him a chance. I don't want to tell him what's really going on, but he's very happy. Nice play by Bowen. He's all on his own. He's going to shoot from a long way out, which was a mistake. But West Ham being a little bit adventurous here. They've got to be. If Chelsea win, I win 750 quid. We could have had 4, and I can see us losing 2-1 from one moment of lack of concentration after not taking our chances, says Dusk. Long way to go, mate. Long way to go. Oh, it wasn't Jared Bowen. It was Ward Prowse, number 7. Sorry. Cash out on your bet, says James. No, I wouldn't. I'd stick. Stick with it. You'll be all right. Hey, did you see bloody Ben Foster FC yesterday? 5-5 from 4-1 down at half time. I tell you what, one thing you do get with Wrexham, entertainment. One thing you don't get, clean sheets at the moment. They'll probably still get promoted. It'll all settle down. I mean, that's some achievement, isn't it? 5-5 from 4-1 at half time. 10 goals. It's scripted, says Brutus. Casido looks like he's warming up here. Yeah, not the only one. I'm not the only one staring at the sun. What a song that was. Ain't nobody gonna tell me anything different. Good cross. Keeper's there. Areola. I'm not just deaf and dumb. I'm staring at the sun. The fate of what you'll find. And the love and hate combined. I'm just making up the lyrics now. Shine. Okay. Sorry, I was just being a bit rude there. Nice ball into Antonio. He's got the strength. He's all on his own. Don't shoot. Oh! What a goal! What a goal! What an absolute bullet! It's like Mario Kart when you're in 12th place and you get the bullet and it takes you straight through to number 1. What an absolute hit! Absolutely fantastic. Antonio! What an absolute goal. That's getting clipped. Don't shoot. And it's Disarcy. Disarcy, I'm telling you, I'm not having it. That is a bullet. An absolute bullet from, call him Magnum, because that was a bullet. Absolutely brilliant. Look at this. Disarcy needs to get close. Oh, what a goal. What a goal. That's incredible. Absolutely incredible. We're right behind it here. Why does Disarcy stand off him? I think he's a bit suspect. I really said this. What did I say to you at the start of the first half? And how many good strikers shoot between the defender's legs? We were talking about this yesterday. How many of those strikers do that? Oh, somebody says it could be offside. No, it's been given. Thank God. That would have been a crime to football. But, yeah, if you are a budding striker down your local five-a-side, have a look at that. Haaland does it all the time. How many good strikers shoot between the legs of the defender? It's not by accident. But, yeah, I said it at the start of the game. If I was Antonio, I'd be attaching myself to Disarcy, and that's exactly what he's done. Thiago Silva, Colwill, I think are very good defenders. Disarcy, new to the Premier League, it's going to take him time to adapt, and he's got to get tighter there. He's got to get tighter there. You got my daughter hooked on Agadoo, says K-Flow. Showed her a video of you singing it and she got hooked. You inspired a lot of generations. Keep up the good work, says K-Flow. Did you know, often, when my clips of Agadoo used to go on, a lot of people thought I wrote the song Agadoo. Yeah, I didn't. Rip that bet up, says Daz. James says, I'd like to see that again. I think Sanchez should get a hand on it, but poor from Disasi. You know what, as a goalkeeper, it's really difficult when the striker uses the defender like that. Because as a goalkeeper, you set yourself, you can see the you can see the attacker, but you're using the defender as almost a mini wall. You're not expecting the ball to come through the defender. So you're covering what you can cover. And this is what top strikers do. They're looking to shoot through the defender, which makes it more difficult for the goalkeeper and their reaction times. What a game we've got going on here. What a great game. What a great game. I'm loving this. Me and David Moyes, we're loving this. Get a pint of Iron Brew for me and David. In fact, get one each. You know, let's have a couple of pints of Iron Brew and some shortbread. And, yeah, that'd be lovely. Scooby-Doo, we're loving this at the moment. The Premier League is back. Look, forget number one. Forget the Golden Boot. Forget the Premier League. Man City will win that. We're interested in everything else. What's Chelsea got next, Mark? Well, there's a long way to go in this game. I don't think they'll necessarily lose this one. But at the moment, they are, and they've got Luton on Friday night. So you'd expect them to get 3 points there. Then they've got Forest. So they've got some winnable games, Chelsea, after this. But they've got to be winning games like this. They've got Luton, Forest and Bournemouth, their next 3 games, Chelsea. This is what I mean. This is why winning this game is really important for them, because it gives them that ability to potentially, you know, go and win 4 or 5 games in a row and get yourself right up there. What do you think of Man United's interest in Verratti? I really like Verratti and I really like Dybala, but there was a time and a place and it's not now. I think they're past it in relation to coming into the Premier League. Yeah, don't shoot. There's always this is why our community is so good. There's always these moments of brilliant insight. Yeah, don't shoot, Antonio. Twat. What a twat. You're on the football fill-in tomorrow, says Cameron. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Don't forget the podcast as well. Goldbridge Saves Football. Loving doing that at the moment. Our very first podcast. Everton. We've done that one from George. Thank you very much. Ward-Prowse is so good, says Ruben. Oh, plenty of time for Chelsea to get back into it. Raheem Sterling again. I don't think there's a foul there. But he's having a good game. But I don't think there's a foul there. Podcast is available on Spotify and iTunes. You can download it now and save it for later if you've not listened to it. 2 episodes up. Loving doing it. And links in the video description. I'll also pin it in the live chat as well. I normally do that anyway, so let me pin that. Give it a download. Give it a listen. If you've got any journeys coming up or a long bath planned or a long walk, there's an Allen walk. Don't be doing a long anything else listening to my podcast. I'll have none of that. Chelsea looked worst since Chukwuemeka came off. Yes. Well, that was always the concern, Jack. He's the guy who got them back into the game. And he's the guy who's off. And that's why I think Casido's going to come on. Yeah, please do give the podcast a listen. I know we've hit 1 million subscribers on here, but we're really trying to build that podcast out. And your support, as ever, is fascinating and, you know, appreciated. So even if you've given it a listen before, pop over there and give it a 5-star rating or whatever. That would be absolutely fantastic. I think Chelsea should buy Harry Maguire and drop. Oh, he's taking Chilwell off, is he? Yeah, after an hour, Chilwell's coming off. It's terrible for my fantasy Premier League. I'm still going to keep him, though. You've got Luton at home next week. Loads of people are getting rid of Bruno and Rashford. We've got Forest at home next week. Frenzy, I'm blocking you. Whether it's a joke or not, you're gone. See you later. Shouldn't be here. If you've got that sort of mentality, you shouldn't be here. If you're a hater, you should be out doing something good with your life. Don't spend time watching things that you don't like. Casido red card on his debut, says Lihan. Well, it'll be a change of system for Chelsea. They'll go to a back four now. Colwell will go to left back. Good tackle on Sterling. Chelsea got to play a little bit more offensive. Lovely play here. Disasi gets caught again. No, it wasn't. It was Casido that time. He's going to keep it on. Benrahma. No, he didn't keep it in. Unlucky. The name of the podcast, Michael Daly, is Goldbridge Saves Football. The link's in the live chat and it's in the video description. Shrek says, congratulations on 1 million. Thank you very much. Here's Mudryk. Not really been in the game, but good play down the left-hand side. The cross is good to Sterling. He's got a chance. And it's blocked. And it's blocked again. West Ham, there's still half an hour to go. They can't play the whole game like this. And Casido with the shot. I think he'll be a good signing, Casido, for Chelsea. Just the same as I think Declan Rice would be a good signing for Arsenal. They're both overpriced, but at the end of the day, you know, as somebody said, with Declan Rice, you're probably playing for the next 10 years. He ain't going to go anywhere, is he? And Casido's definitely there for the next 10 years because that's his contract. I'm going to the United game on Saturday and I hope United wins, says Cameron. I think everyone would be stunned if we don't win next Saturday. If I ever met you in life, would you give me an autograph, says Shawshank. Well, I would if you want one. I mean, a bit surprised, but yes. Any watch-alongs next weekend, says Paul. We're still not into midweek fixtures yet, are we? I don't think we've got any well, there is. The League Cup's coming up the week after next. Not that I'll be watching that. But there are obviously games next weekend. And Friday night football's Chelsea-Luton. I won't be watching that. Saturday, you've got Bournemouth-Tottenham at 12:30. United are playing Forest at 3. Obviously, I'll be on United stand for that. I think the big game next weekend is Newcastle against Liverpool, which is we'll definitely do that at 4:30. Antonio gets it wide. Benrahma. He's had a good go against Gusto and he's got past him here. Good recovery tackle though by Gusto. Give him some credit. He did work hard. What's your thoughts on Antonio versus Richarlison banter now? Says Peter. What's the banter? Rian says, do you watch games outside of watchmakings? I don't know what you've heard, but I don't make watches. I am doing Crystal Palace Arsenal tomorrow. 8 o'clock, yeah. Yeah, we'll be live for that tomorrow. Corner to West Ham. They've already scored one. Ward-Prowse is on it. The architect extraordinaire. It's a good cross. And Soucek's got it in the box. Edge of the box. Bang! Whew, just wide. Well, it was quite far wide by Benrahma, but you never know. Gunner FC says Chelsea shouldn't have took Chilwell off. He was getting a lot of chances. Did Ward-Prowse get the assist on the second goal as well? Sura says, I started supporting United at 12 or so years ago. I stay in America and plan to stay at a home game for the first this season. Any recommendations, says Sura? I don't think it matters. Just get yourself to a home game if that's what your plan is. When are you going to do a That's Football live show in London, says Tumbleweed? We do need to look at that, yeah. Obviously, I'll let you know. Ward-Prowse did get the second assist as well. Thanks, chats. There we go. He is looking like good value in FPL at the moment. Good turn by Antonio. Look at that. He's all on his own. And Gusto's done well again. Sanchez helps him out. Could be something on the break here. Chelsea will be thinking, and Chelsea fans will be thinking, not about a draw. They'll still be thinking about the win here. Obviously, they've got to level up first. I don't think West Ham would be massively bothered. Well, they obviously will be massively bothered if they don't win, but... oh, that's late. Agard, he's off. He's off. Second yellow. Well, the game's just changed there. I don't think he can argue. I don't think he can argue. What is he doing? Antonio's sort of saying to him, what are you doing? I don't think there's any argument. I thought it was a yellow card. Oh, he's got no argument there. You could almost argue it's a red. Nah, he's got no arguments with that. Absolutely none. No argument at all. He can't complain with that. It's stupid. No complaints. There can be no complaints. And that's a lifeline for Chelsea. It really is. West Ham go to Brighton next week. Tough start to the season for West Ham. I mean, it's a tough league. They'll make a substitution here. Agbonna's going to come on. Another good game gone, says Savage. Well, it'll be defence against attack now for the next half hour. What's for tea, Mark, says FIFA Pro? I've already had a lasagna, so I'll go light on my tea. Probably just have fish and chips. Ben Rama's sacrificed. Not in a literal sense, that would be horrific. He's coming off and Agbonna's going to come on. Basically, it won't change a lot for West Ham, really. In some ways, for West Ham, it sort of excuses what they would like to do for the next 20 minutes anyway, which is park the bus and hit on the break. Watched your United video earlier about Ten Hag. Think we need to remember his rant in pre-season and maybe he got in trouble for it, says Joris. Yep, it's always been on my mind. Look, there's no. I can't remember what his first yellow card was for, but the second one is absolutely spot on. I mean, he's almost breaking the record on our stats carousel. He's got a goal on his shoulder, he's got a yellow card on his shoulder, and he's about to disappear when it updates with a red card as well. I think Agard is the first person to do that. I think Sterling's had a good game for Chelsea. I know he's not a popular player, but I do. Hey, up, ref, you've got to go back there. Oi! Conor Gallagher, you need booking, mate. You need booking. He needs booking. He was late anyway. And for me, he hasn't been booked already, so give him a yellow card. Oh no, to be fair, there's nothing in that. Great bounce back from Villa, or just an easy game, says Paul. I think Villa are always going to win that. You didn't want to be playing. Oh my God, what's going on here? Oh my God. I've never had that happen before. Don't touch it, leave it. Nicholas Jackson's been booked as well. Bloody great. My fantasy Premier League is descending into a bloody well here. Chilwell's been gone off, and Jackson's gone and got himself booked again. Might be time to use the wild card. Your podcast is awesome. I loved it, says Darren. Thanks for the support, Darren. Links in the live chat if you want to download it for later and give it a listen. 2 episodes up. Episode 3 out on Tuesday. YouTube account. Have you ever had piles and how did you treat them? There's some fantastic creams out there. Too early to wildcard. There's an offside there, but he's not played the offside. Mudryk tackles himself. You feel this sort of game for Mudryk is one that he can really... What's going on here? Well, West Ham are going to just sit deep here. Plenty of people behind the ball. You worry about Chelsea a little bit. I'm worried about Chelsea a little bit. They've got plenty of time to get back into it. But the reason I'm worried about Chelsea, it's all very intricate. You know, where's the muscle? Where's the physicality in that front line? I just wonder where the chance is going to come from. The goal they scored in the first half came from some really good individualism from Chukwuemeka. But that West Ham defensive line is going to sit very deep and very close and very physical. And he's bringing on Madueke now, but where's it all going to come from? I think they're very reliant on a moment of magic from Sterling here. Akash says, "Can I join your FPL league?" You can. I don't know what does anyone remember what it is? I don't remember. They've got no goal threat, says Jamie. Still plenty of time, but again, Chelsea won't be looking at drawing this game. It's weird when they're losing 2-1, but you'd still be thinking about winning it, not winging it. Mudryk reminds me of Darwin, both not living up to expectations, says Jenna. I mean, I don't know whether Mudryk is going to be a flop or not. I didn't really know a lot about him before, other than that Arsenal wanted him. I've said it about Todd Bowley before, isn't he? He reminds me of... he wants what you're eating, basically. You go out for something to eat, and he has a lasagna, and you've got, steak and chips, and then someone else has got fajitas. He wants that now, and he could have picked it in the first place. Another substitution for West Ham. Can they hold out? "15 minutes to go, but there will be plenty of time added on. It's not over for Chelsea yet." I just don't know whether they've got the creativity to break West Ham down. They just seem to miss something. Every time I look at Chelsea, I always think you're spending close to £1 billion and you still haven't bought that Lewandowski, that Benzema, that Haaland, you know, that Harry Kane, that absolute striker that everyone looks at and goes, "We're terrified." It amazes me. It amazes me that you can spend that much money and not buy the most important thing in any team. Somebody to put the ball in the back of the net. Someone to strike fear into the team. They've got the budget, Chelsea. They've got the wallet. And they haven't gone out and bought it. And it amazes me. It really, really does. CCYO8L is the code for that. Is Chelsea more attractive club than Chelsea, says Nicholas. And off topic, but now I have to wait another lifetime to see England lifting a World Cup, says OP. They've got Lukaku. Where is Lukaku? Oh, good cross. Can you see a desperate loan move for João Felix as the striker option at United? He wants to leave Atletico, Barca, but will that happen, says the Beast. Todd Bowley. Todd Bowley's on his own up front for West Ham here. Jared Bowen was on his own up front for West Ham there. Shoots from distance. I think João Felix wants to go to Barcelona, so I think he'll end up at Barcelona. You wouldn't be surprised if Todd Bowley brought himself on up front. Is Lukaku actually playing for anybody at the moment, was my question. Where is he? What is he doing? He's still at Chelsea. And he's injured. Well, this is Chelsea's best chance of scoring goals. Ooh, shot wide. I think shots from distance, individual flair and skill. I wouldn't just keep whipping crosses in, although this chance did come from a cross. Colwell hit it well. Strong and true, but wide. West Ham making lots of subs. Ward-Prowse is coming off. I think this is Alvarez coming on for West Ham. So it'll be interesting to see what he's all about. New signing, formerly of Ajax. Very physical, very good on the ball. Very exciting signing for West Ham. We must remember Scamacca, though. I thought Scamacca was an inspiringly exciting signing. Didn't work out. Savage says he's very excited to see Alvarez. Let's see what he's all about. Good player. Nearly went to Dortmund. Christian keeps saying Alvarez to United, let's hope. How does that work, mate? He's literally just signed for West Ham. Thanks everyone who's tuning in, by the way. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Get involved with That's Football. You're very welcome. We hit 1 million subscribers this week, which is absolutely fantastic. Incredible stuff. And I've got to say, if West Ham get a result here, I'll be very surprised. I haven't even checked win, lose or draw. I beat Fozzie last week. I don't know how I'm doing this week. There's a couple of results I don't think I predicted. Don't think I predicted Brentford to win. Don't think I didn't predict Spurs to beat United, definitely. Not sure. I know I went with Villa to win. Doubt I've gone with West Ham to win. As Ward-Prowse been good, says Theo. Well, he's had 2 assists, so good play by Sterling again. Good cross, block again. That was Alvarez early, getting involved. 81 minutes. There'll be plenty of stoppage time. Chelsea just got to keep chipping away here. Another sub for Chelsea. It's Gusto coming off. I don't know much about this lad. I presume he's a young player from the youth, or maybe they spent £50 million on him. I don't know. Mudryk, electric pace. I think he's conceded another corner. I would like to see Ansu Fati at United, says Pablo. Another corner for Chelsea here. Alfie says, you better be at the charity match or I'm not going. Well, look, if you're interested in that Sidemen charity game, this is where it's going to be. 60,000. I was at the game last year, Charlton. It was a great, great, great atmosphere. Double it up at West Ham. Sterling again. He's had a good game. He's put a good cross in. West Ham will fancy themselves on crosses, though. And he's going to have to go back to the keeper there. And Areola. Oh, bad pass out from Areola, that. Really bad pass. If he was David De Gea, he'd be getting clipped for that. He'd be getting booed for that. Blueview says, what's your thoughts on McAllister red? We spoke about it loads. Definitely not a red for me. Sterling again. He looks like he's Chelsea's big hope. The cross is good. Mudryk. Oh my God. Considering that was a finish. And there's an offside there. He's struggling, Mudryk, isn't he? Ryan says Sterling's looking very sharp. I think he's been Chelsea's best player. He'll be getting a bit worried now, Poch. 5 minutes of normal time to go. Don't forget you can download OneFootball, our stats partner, for free. Links in the description. Available on Apple and Android. You can get all your match stats, player stats on there as well. individual player stats. If you want to have a look at how James Ward-Prowse did in relation to his passing, etc. Big shout out to OneFootball for that. Mudrick's getting a lot of stick in the chat, but Sterling keeps going. I've just tweeted it. I think Chelsea's best player has been Sterling, and most likely outlet to get back into this game. But Chelsea fans, what are you thinking? I mean, things can change around very quickly. Team looks imbalanced. Where's the goals going to come from? Looks like a team that's rebuilding, but doesn't look like a team that's got lots of goals in it at the moment. Too many chefs. No, what's the saying? Nkunku, Marcus, you're right. Nkunku's a big loss, but not many. I think a lot of people would agree with me that Nkunku is not an out-and-out striker. I said cooks, not cocks. Too many cooks spoil the broth. Too much huff. No, I can't say that. You can't say that anymore. All huff and no, you can't say that. Even though it doesn't mean anything derogatory. Some people might take it that way. But all talk and no action, basically, from Chelsea. So you watched The Founder. Who's your favourite American player ever? Clint Dempsey, Pulisic. Also, let's hear your best American accents as Peter. Clint Dempsey was a very good Premier League player. So I'd probably say him over Pulisic. No, it wasn't going to be chuff. Imagine that. All huff and no chuff. Well, I don't even know what it means. Yeah, Chelsea struggling at the moment. Frustrating. 1 point from 4. Sorry, 1 point from 6 if they lose this game. Money can't buy your love. Dinner with Joel Glazer or Anthony Taylor, says Alex. I think I'd have far more better conversation with Anthony Taylor, to be honest. At least he pretends to know something about football. Well, Enzo Fernandez, you're always going to look shit when you play a pass like that. All smoke and no fire, says Fred. Who would you rather see win the league, Spurs or Arsenal, says Sia? Well, definitely Spurs, because they're the lesser rival of United. They're less offensive. Disasi gives a foul up. I'm yet to be convinced about Disasi, and I can sit in comfort because I've got a comfortable chair, but I can also say anybody who watches the United stand, we were linked to Disasi, and I said I know next to nothing about him. 25 years of age, I would have thought he might have been on our radar a little bit before that. So I didn't know. I trust Ten Hag, but with Disasi, I was a little bit like, I don't really know anything about him, so I can't say he's going to be a good signing. And having seen him for Chelsea, I still think he's got a bit of adapting to do to the Premier League. Yeah, look, he's got the fundamentals to be a good player, but another mistake at the back by Casido, and a great save with the feet with Sanchez. That could have been the game. Only 6 minutes added on as well. Bad mistake by Casido here. And Fornells nearly wins it. Chicken Nugget says, is Casido playing? He's definitely playing. He's nearly cost them a game. And West Ham are in again here. Cut back. Try and win a corner. That's a foul, surely. He's not giving it. He's not giving it. And Sterling's away here. And West Ham will be fuming. Great tackle. Great tackle by Soucek. West Ham need to get the numbers back. They need to get back organised here. Can Chelsea get a late point? Madueke is going to shoot, surely. Oh my God, I thought it had gone in. He shoots. A West Ham defender puts a leg out and you think the deflection might be enough to put it past. Could he? Oh, what a save. What a save by Areola, that is. And it's another corner. Chelsea are ramping it up here. That's a great save. Great save by Areola there. He's arguably man of the match because of the saves he's made. Him or Ward-Prowse. Headed away now is Sterling. 2 of the 6 minutes gone. You'd have to put Chelsea into the category of not winning this game now. Maybe they can get a draw. It doesn't look like they're going to get time for 2. Doesn't look like they're going to have time for 1, let's be honest. They've created next to nothing. Madueke, cross into the box. That's not the way. You haven't got the players. Jackson's been invisible in this game. The man in the mirror, just looking at himself with no service. Yeah, if it stays like this, Areola man of the match. Saved a penalty. Chelsea fans will be fuming, but you're going to have to be patient. The Premier League can throw up these sort of results. But there's no fluke. I don't see it. I just think Chelsea look like a team that spent a load of money without a plan. I don't see the plan. I don't see the plan. I am not a Chelsea fan. He's given a penalty! £116 million to give a penalty away. Casido, 116 million. And that's what he's cost. That penalty cost Chelsea. Oh my God. Oh my God. It just doesn't get any worse for Chelsea, does it? He's had an absolute stinker. That he nearly gave a goal away. It's a stonewall penalty. I mean, that ain't, no one's complaining about that. The officiating in this game's actually been quite good. The red card. Remember Chelsea, just to remind you as well, West Ham are down to 10 men. They've been down to 10 men for 20 minutes. He casidoed a penalty, says Gorist Thump. Yeah, well, look, it's over. Chelsea... humiliation here. Can they complete the damage? Paqueta, he might miss it on purpose. He doesn't. He scores, and it's 3-1, and it's game over. And Chelsea are beaten 3-1. They're losing. They're going to lose. It will be 3 goals to West Ham, and the worst thing for Chelsea is, I didn't think there would be a result more humiliating than Man United losing to Spurs. But Chelsea have come along and said, hold my beer, because we're going to lose to 10 men West Ham and we're going to bring on our £116 million player who is going to play worse than Scott McTominay, drunk, and try and get West Ham to score goals. Casido knew he was moving to London. I don't think anybody told him he was playing for Chelsea today, because he's been doing his best to get West Ham goals, and he's certainly delivered. Most expensive penalty in Premier League history, that. £116 million. big look. Also we focus in on Chelsea, but there's somebody else here to talk about, and that's called West Ham. They've been thoroughly deserving winners, much the same as Spurs against United yesterday. Well organised, endeavouring, if that's a word. The chance creation has been abysmal from Chelsea, says Harry. I don't get it. I don't get how you spend that amount of money and don't buy a striker. And I know they've bought Jackson, but I mean, they're spending over £100 million on Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo and Mudryk and all these players, and you don't think, I know, let's go and buy one of the world's best strikers. The stupid thing is, they spent £116 million on Caicedo. If they'd offered Napoli 130 for Osimhen, they'd sell him. Like, why would you not do that? Why would you not do that? Now I fully understand why Chelsea fans said Poch is better than Ten Hag. Says Savage. Well, he ain't. Poch ain't all that. I've said people that, but that will be judged over a longer period of time than losing today. I will do a match reaction. I didn't think I'd do a match reaction, but I'll definitely be doing a match reaction because this is a shock. And Chelsea are in crisis already. The title's written itself. It's over. It's over. It's 3-1 to West Ham. Chelsea have been beaten. All that money to get basically beaten by West Ham. It's a big win for Chelsea. Sorry, a big win for West Ham. I thought it was Caicedo involvement, but Caicedo's on his knees praying, and well, it's too late. The final whistle's gone. Maybe against Luton. Look, times will get better for Chelsea, but West Ham should enjoy that victory tonight. A very good one, and they thoroughly deserved it. Well done to West Ham. And Chelsea, well, absolutely shocking performance from them. Back to the drawing board for Poch. It's going to be a long season for Chelsea. They've got some easier games on the horizon, but West Ham will be ecstatic. Maybe Maguire should have gone to West Ham. Arrogant. Who does he think he is? Anyway, I'm going to do a match reaction. I'm on the United Stand at 8 o'clock. Speak to you all later. Thoroughly enjoyed the stream. And don't forget to check out the community tab. We need your questions for the podcast. And you can listen to the podcast. Links in the live chat or the video description. Give it a download and let us know what you think. Speak to you all in a bit. Match reaction coming up.